You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 15th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety to order this 15th day of August 2022. President Mayor Dwayne Perry, Mr. Michael Vinson, myself, Virginia Keating, we have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of August 1st, 2022. Are there any corrections?
No, I make a motion, we approve.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry, Mr. Vinson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request to purchase city-owned property. Terry Mauer, 818 North Risky Trail, is requesting to purchase city-owned property parcel number 46-01-29-434-022.000-022 located between two alleys on 9th Street. Is there anyone here to address this matter? Please. Good morning. Would you state your name and address, please?
Terry Mauer, 818 North Risky Trail, Michigan City.
Thank you.
Park.
Thank you. Why don't you explain what you're asking?
We are under contract to purchase 214 East 9th Street, and this property is directly north of us. And we're seeking to purchase it. It's between two alleys. Did not think that it serviced any other people or would have any value to anybody other than us or the adjacent neighbor. So we'd like to purchase it. We're set to close on 9th Street next week, the 25th.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Amber, please explain the procedure.
No problem. That was one of my questions as when closing was.
Yes.
Just to give you guys a little bit of feedback, Skylar York and I have reviewed this, and our preliminary inquiry is that it would be something that the city would be interested in selling because of the size, and it's not a buildable lot. But I am researching with all the other city department heads right now to see if they have any objection to the sale of it. My next step will be looking at how we acquired it. And if we did acquire it from the county by a tax sale, then we can offer it for sale to adjacent landowners by certified mail. So at this point in time, ma'am, what I would ask the board to do is just refer it to my office so I can finish my investigation, and then I'll report back to this board.
Okay.
I think that'd be fine.
Maybe give it a month. Okay.
That'd be great.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we put this on the pending list to revisit in a month.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry, Mr. Vinson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a request to lease office equipment. Andrew Metanek, IT Department, is requesting to lease a copy machine for the city clerk's office from Kemp's Office Supply in the amount of $119.85 for 60 months, the net price being $6,275. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Metanek, Information Technology Department. This is a lease for a new copy machine for the clerk's office. Clerk's office has an ancient machine right now, and they're in desperate need of one. Right now, availability is such that we're looking at probably like October, November before delivery. I did all the vendors that I did contact for this quote were giving me about the same lead times. I did go, however, find the company that we have been using throughout the city did come in with the lowest, most responsive bid for this copy machine, and also has a loaner machine that they can bring on site for us to use in the interim until we receive the new copy machine in sometime in October or November.
Thank you.
The lease price for this, like I said, it's $119.85 for 60 months. It does not include any of the copies, so for toner, but that is at the same price as what we do for all the other city departments, which is a zero allotment. So we're actually only charged for what we use. And so instead of paying like 10,000 copies a month and only using 2,000, but still having to pay the 10,000, we only get billed for exactly the amount of copies that we use. And as part of this maintenance contract then and lease, it should be a pretty nominal amount based off of what I've seen the clerks use in the past. And it's something that we've included into the budget for next year to cover the expense of this.
Thank you for that. Are there any public comments? Then any board comments? And do it,
I make a motion, we approve.
and I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry, Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Andy Metanek, IT Department is requesting to enter a subscription agreement with InfoSec Institute for 1 year of employment computer cybersecurity awareness training in the amount of $6,450.
Yes, this security training, what it'll be is it'll be an online training for all of our users, all employees in the city who have access to a computer. They will go ahead and they will take a monthly course, probably about 5 minutes to 10 minutes each month, just with a refresher on cybersecurity awareness, whether it be phishing scams, just for their alertness for that, or any type of malware, or any type of compliance where we might have to worry about with just to remind people, do not send like driver's license numbers or social security numbers to the email. It's just a little bit different every month. They're going to be exposed to a little bit different areas of cybersecurity just to help heighten awareness to all the end users. It's something that is required for our insurance company, and it's also just something that's good practice to have for all of our users. And I looked through many different vendors for this, and I felt that InfoSec was by far the best choice. They had the most comprehensive cybersecurity. That's what they focus on. I looked at other companies and they had a little mixture of a lot of different things, whether it be like Microsoft Word training or Excel and so forth. And they also offer cybersecurity. This company here, this is their specialty, and they are one of the leading companies out there right now. And I feel that this one will be the best for our users, and I think they'll get the most out of it.
Thank you. Is there any comment from the public? Any board comments? Questions?
Madam Chair.
I do have a question, Madam Chair. Just out of my own curiosity, is this just a blanket training session, or is there any preventative measures in place or any post-traumatic measures in place?
Well, what it'll do is it'll go ahead and it'll teach the individuals, like give them a little bit informative on, basically if they not to click on certain emails or whatnot. And then this is strictly going to be a training tool, not a security tool. However, what it does allow us to do is to simulate attacks on our users. So we can actually send out emails to the employees and go ahead and try to simulate an attack and try to see if they'll click on it or not. And so if they do click on it, what it does, it enrolls them into more extensive training on that area that they were compromised on or they thought they should click on. So it gives us feedback. It also has a dashboard where we can monitor all the different employees in each department to make sure that everybody is completing all their 5-minute training or 10-minute training in that month that they're assigned to do that. So it should be pretty nominal for the users, not take up a lot of time. They can do it anytime they wish within that month. And we will be putting across those simulations. And if somebody does fall for one of those simulations, which come through email, then more training would then be set aside for them. And that's something that's all inclusive in this contract is the additional training. And so it's nothing more that we have to pay for. So this is pretty much an all-inclusive contract to cover all the users for as much security training as we need.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Now call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for signage. Valerie Skiat, Michigan City Transportation Department is requesting the installation of 5 school bus ahead signs prior to Tall Timbers or on Springland Avenue heading west, prior to Woods Edge Drive on Woodland Avenue heading north, and prior to 201 Kiefer Road 400 north, I believe, Michigan City in the direction heading east and west.
Good morning, Sergeant Steve Porker, Michigan City Police Department. I've had the opportunity to speak with Captain Lineski regarding the request by Michigan City Area Schools Transportation. He is in agreement with Ms. Skiwa about the need for stop sign or school bus stop ahead signage in all of those locations provided. He would recommend it.
Thank you for that. Any public comment? Board comments?
None here, Madam Chair. Motion to approve.
Second.
I call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for a peaceful walk. Pastor Jerry Passmore, Marvelous Miracles Ministries, is requesting a peaceful walk from Grace Street down Michigan Boulevard to Westcott Park and back to Grace Street using sidewalks only. Is there anyone here to address this?
Again, and Sergeant Steve Porker, Michigan City Police. Captain Lineski again had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Passmore and would recommend approval for this request. The participants will be using sidewalks and following all the traffic control signals. There will be no police overtime required for this event.
Thank you, Sergeant. Any public comment?
Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'd like to know when the dates and times of the peaceful walk is going to be, because I'd like to join them, and maybe others would too. Thank you.
It's
The date is
date is
October 1st from 12 to 3. All right. Any board comments? Yes. Okay. Go ahead. More.
So my name is Jerry Passmore from 1620 East Michigan Boulevard. I'm in here reference the petition to do a walk down from 1620 East Michigan Boulevard to Weinscott Park. We'll be using the sidewalk. The walk will start at noon. It will probably end at 3 o'clock by the time we get down there. I have already contacted a lot of people outside of Michigan City as far as bishops and pastors of other reformations from Chicago and Detroit that are willing to come and participate on this event. Our main goal for the event is to walk down the street and try to get people in the community to join us. And it's not only for a lot of people have asked me about this weapons thing, to put the weapons down. It's not just for weapons. It's not really for knives and guns. It's more mentally and trying to get the community aware of everything that's going on mentally, and also with what's going on with the new laws that are coming into place. Actually they're already in place, and prepare them to understand that, walking around with a firearm is not the best thing for our community. And it's just basically a peaceful walk. We're going to pray, each pastor or we'll pray at every block corner and pray for safekeeping in that area as we walk. So that's pretty much it. If anybody else has any questions.
Thank you. Are there any board questions?
None here, Madam Chair. Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a contract approval, contract between the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety and John A. Doyle Associates Incorporated for professional engineering, surveying, and related services in the amount not to exceed $75,000. Is there anyone here to address this? Amber, could you address it?
Madam President, this would be really for on-call engineering and also for the community crossings grant. If the board does approve this, I would ask that you approve subject to the Common Council approving the additional appropriation for the funding of this, which I believe is on third reading for tomorrow night. It's on your agenda now, just because we're working on time deadlines to get the next round of community crossing grant application in.
Thank you very much for that. Any public comment? Any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve pending the council's decision to appropriate funds.
No,
Second.
okay. Call for the vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda is rumble strips request. Councilman Brian Dabney, 405 Thomas Street is requesting rumble strips replaced at the intersection of Grace and Walker Street, at the intersection of School and Walker Street, and across the street at the top of the hill on Walker near Porter Street. Good morning.
Morning. Ryan Dabney, 405 Thomas Street. I just came down in case anybody had any questions about the request. I attached an email from email chain with Captain Leneski regarding this. They've done this for us before over on Grace and Walker, the intersection there on Walker Street. Just the strips there to alert people that stop signs are coming or alert them of their speed. Same as the strips that they have out in front of the zoo. Is what I'm requesting to have on Walker Street there.
Thank you. Sergeant.
Again, Sergeant Porker, Michigan City Police. Again, speaking with Captain Leneski, he would recommend the approval for thermoplastic rumble strips. He has also spoke with the street department and requesting that the existing strips at Walker and Grace be reapplied in a thicker gauge.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public? And on the board comment?
None here, Madam Chair. Motion to approve.
Second.
And then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a vehicle lease modification. Skylar York, Planning Inspection Director, is requesting to amend one vehicle and approval of leases for vehicles for Planning and Inspection Department. Skylar?
Good morning, Board. Skylar York, Director of Planning and Redevelopment for the City of Michigan City. Sorry about that. And I'm here with Chris Shagelski as well, who kind of helped me work on the lease program. What we're requesting today, I provided a letter to you guys earlier. They didn't have, we asked for 3 Renegades and 2 Jeep Cherokees. They had since sold one of the Renegades, or it wasn't on the lot. So they're proposing to give us another Jeep Cherokee in replacement of that Renegade at the same. It doesn't affect the cost of it doesn't change the cost of the contract.
Okay. My understanding is that we need a little more time to prepare the amended contract. Is that correct?
From my end, I do. I'm working on the leases right now and I apologize just with the time constraints, trying to get it on the agenda. It's not prepared yet.
So basically, I think our option would be to just table this matter.
You could approve Skylar's request right now to modify the vehicle and then table the lease.
Okay, all right. And I think that's what we're going to do.
I'll make a motion to do just that.
Second.
Chair.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a speed bump request. Stephen Stanford, Operations Manager, Sanitary District, is requesting several speed bumps installed in the California Avenue parking lot and along the westbound lane of Colfax Avenue to redirect storm water into the drain system.
Good morning, everybody. Steve Stanford, Operations Manager, Sanitary District. I here to answer any questions about my request.
I have no questions, Madam Chair.
When do you want to have this done?
Sooner than later. We've actually retained John Doyle and Associates to help us improve the stormwater drainage in this area, and the speed bumps are part of what he designed for us.
Okay.
I expected I would need to come here and get approval before we could put those in, though.
Okay, sure. This is a longstanding problem.
I learned of the problem 2019, but yes, it's been a repeated problem with the homes at the north end of California Avenue taking on the water.
Okay.
We've got water that comes north on Lake Avenue all the way from Washington Park Boulevard, turns west on Colfax, and that goes down to this parking lot.
Sergeant.
in Michigan City Police Department traffic and I'm sorry. We have no objection to this request. Speed bumps being installed for the sole purpose of redirecting stormwater are not intended as a speed deterrent. No objection on our end.
All right. Any public comment? Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
I make a motion, we approve.
Then I'll call for the,
Support.
okay, I'll call for the vote. Mary Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. Fine. Next item on the agenda is a request for signage. Rose Tahita, 310 Detroit Street is requesting the installation of stop signs, crosswalks, and additional school crossing signs at Spring and Detroit Streets for student safety. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Rose Tahita, 310 Detroit Street. And I actually purchased this home in January and moved in July and have noticed an abundance of traffic on Detroit Street between Pine and York. And traffic is moving quite fast. And there are the vocational schools, Ivy Tech, and also the Boys and Girls Club of LaPorte County. And I feel that there's a real safety issue with how fast traffic is moving, especially without any stop signs at the corner of Detroit and Spring. So that is my official request, is for those stop signs, but also I would like to see maybe additional school crossing signs or slowed down school zone, because people are just moving way too fast, and I'm concerned for the safety of those children.
Thank you. Sergeant Folker.
Again, Captain Lineski just requests that this be referred to Michigan City Police Department Traffic and Engineering for a report back at the next meeting.
Thank
He
you
has
very
time
much.
to study.
Thank you for that. Is there any public comments? And then is there any board?
I'll make a motion that this subject matter be held over for discussion at I think Sergeant Fork said a month. Did you say next meeting, to our next meeting?
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a insurance policy renewal. Charles Keene, General Insurance Services, is requesting approval for the City of Michigan City and OND Benefits Administration LLC, doing business as JWF Specialty Company Workers' Compensation Third-Party Administration and Service Agreement, policy term 8/15/2022 to 1/15/2026. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles Keene, 421 Franklin Street, Michigan City. I'm here today to seek approval from the board to change out our third-party administrator services for the workers' compensation self-funded plan that the city has in place. Just a point of clarification that the third-party administrator it's not actually an insurance policy. It is actually a contract for services to be the claims administrator or a claims adjuster on workers' compensation claims for city employees. So just a little bit of background about why we're doing this. We had some issues with our current third-party administrator, Comp One, and it was the recommendation of the administration as well as General Insurance to move forward with a new contract with the new provider. So we went through a in-depth vetting process to come up with a better alternative for the city, that being JWF. And part of that process, we talked to several other municipalities, including some that we have that we also represent within Northwest Indiana, as well as the whole state of Indiana. JWF mainly focuses on the state of Indiana, which is important because each state has their own individual workers' compensation statutes that they have to adjust claims by. So real quick, I'll run through the cost summary. So because this is a midterm contract, JWF is going to start adjusting new claims effective today. And so it'll be a 3-year plus 5-month contract, starting 8/15/2022 through January 15th of 2026. The annualized cost for the administrative services, it's a fixed cost, $34,500. And for the 5 months, it's prorated at $14,375. And then part of their proposal is to take over current claims with an estimated fee of $8,375. And that will be based on the actual number of open claims effective today. So per indemnity claim is $750 and medical only claims $125. I threw a lot of information at the board. Does anybody have any questions? I hate to keep going deeper into this, but I'm happy to field any questions that anybody has.
Anything from the board?
What's the total estimated cost to the city?
$34,500, which is actually a savings. So Comp One was at $42,400. Thanks for pointing that out, Mayor. I meant to point that out. So
I have no question. Motion to approve.
Second.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you for that.
thank you.
Next one is the insurance policy coverage. Charles Keene, General Insurance, is requesting approval for the special event 2022 Michigan City Oktoberfest liability insurance policy that will be held from 9/1/2022 to 9/7/2022 in the amount of $2,116.63.
Good morning, Charles Keene, General Insurance Services, 420
I
Franklin
recognize you,
Street,
sir.
for the record. So a little bit of background about this. So with the city's return of the Oktoberfest, there's been a lot of discussion about how to properly protect the city because it is an event with lots of good stuff going on. There's vendors, good things. Yeah. Good things, vendors, bands, things of that nature. So it was our recommendation that the city seek out a special events insurance policy to insulate the city's insurance coverage. And a point of clarification, so the actual event does not run from September 1st to September 7th. However, the insurance policy does. So the insurance policy would take into account setup and takedown. So there's a couple days on either end of the event to cover that type of thing. So we are proposing commercial general liability coverage in the amount of $1 million with a general aggregate of $2 million, as well as liquor liability coverage in the amount of $1 million each occurrence and a $1 million general aggregate. Are there any questions?
Any questions here?
None here. Just a comment. I appreciate, Mr. Keene, you expanding that window to protect the city. For, as you said, to set up and to tear down.
Well, oh, I probably ought to, for the record, state the total premium, $2,116.63.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Go ahead.
I make a motion, we approve.
Support.
And call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the HDD policy application. Our city clerk, Gail Nyblum, is requesting clarification of procedures being followed to date due to the 2022 pandemic, COVID, and the HDD horizontal drilling, directional drilling policy that was amended, approved on June 17, 2019. Third party seeking permission to horizontally, directionally drill under any city street right of way or city owned property. Gail, would you please explain what you're asking for?
Well, when St. Anthony's started to move here, they wanted to put fiber optic down. During this time, our last administration had a city engineer that was not doing what he was supposed to be doing with these HDDs. And this policy was put into my office. I am hoping that, we could go back and follow what we are doing on the policy from 2019, which was changed during COVID. But I believe that this should be going to another department that knows about horizontal drilling, which I myself or my staff don't have a clue about what we are processing. The city engineer is supposed to approve these when we get all the documents from the three departments to move forward. But I believe that this is something that should go to sanitation, to planning, to water, somebody that knows more about what is going on.
Did you want to respond, Amber?
When this policy was put into effect, it wasn't just because of St. Anthony's, it was trying to help the then existing engineer do his job better. It's really up to this board as to if you want to change the procedure. So during COVID, pre-COVID, what the procedure was, someone would come in, fill out their application, clerk's office would then bring it to the board for the approval once we got all of the city department's feedback. During COVID, we modified that because we weren't having all of the meetings, and we determined that the engineer could sign off on them once they got all the feedback. So at this point in time, it's up to this board. Do you want to go back to the original procedure where everything came in front of this board? Or is it time now, with new administration, new players, to re-examine it, maybe sit down at a workshop or something to discuss with the various departments is, can we do this better? Did I say that okay for you, Gail?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's just, it's very confusing because I have 5 or 6 of them sitting in my office right now. And the water department did have some questions about 2 of them, and we decided to deny those. Well, now I'm sitting and I'm getting more and more. So this is something I believe that we need to address yesterday.
And I think what's compounding it is we don't have a technically city engineer on staff as an employee to assist. So it's.
And Brad has done a great job. He has. But he's only one person too.
Okay, so the question is, shall we just return to the original procedure, or should we have a workshop to carve out a procedure that's better suited to our times right now?
Correct.
Well, Madam Chair, if I may, I'm not an expert in horizontal drilling either. I know what it is, but I would defer this to our on-call engineer, Brad Merrick, and ask his opinion, his advice, what the next step for this city should be.
In the meantime, I have a question for council. The old policy was the engineer had authority to sign off. Because he was a city employee, would an on-call engineering firm have authority to sign off on behalf of the city?
I believe we could, because we want an engineer's eyes on this to make sure that everything is in line. But it's really a matter of procedure and how we want to go forward with these.
Brad, your opinion?
Okay, Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers. I would agree that a workshop is merited to just kind of reestablish where we're at and the best way to move forward. And I agree with Gail that her department's probably not the best to house that function. We've talked internally in the last couple weeks about how to expedite responses from the various departments, and also communicate those responses to the applicant. So I think we're very close to moving forward with a better model, but we need to get everybody in a room and have that conversation as formality.
Thank you for expressing your opinion. Do you have any other questions?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we table a decision on this policy until our next meeting, during which time we will have a workshop on this.
Second.
Okay. Are you going to be calling that workshop?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will call it workshop.
Just so you know, I won't be in the office, so I don't know if you want to push it out a little bit further or try to get it this week.
I will.
Do we have,
So we may want to push it out and
I don't have a problem pushing it out as long as there's no critical horizontal.
How do you want me to move forward with this?
We'll table it for, let's just, for 1 month.
We'll table it. My motion is to table it for 1 month, during which time we'll have a workshop.
Second.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is a request for restriping. Tommy Kalavic, 1316 Ohio Street, is requesting Ohio Street between 11th Street and Garfield Street to be restriped.
Tommy Golovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'm requesting that the Ohio Street be restriped from 11th Street to Garfield Street as it was done in 2015. Wednesday afternoon, 3:18 p.m., I had another accident at my intersection. I do have video from my Ring floodlight camera that I put up that I'd like to have shown. I was out mowing the lawn at the time. You can see the striping that was put down in 2015 has been totally vanished.
Ooh. Took his headlight off.
Yeah, the hubcap came almost flying and almost hit me. It hit the curb. There I am on my mower. I do have a little bit of testimony I'd like to give as far as the history of that. In 2015, Reith Riley Construction resurfaced Ohio Street between Ohio and Garfield. And that was in May of 2015. And the whole summer went by, and it wasn't never striped. It was just all blacktop. So I contacted late Mr. Keith Harris, who was a candidate for second ward councilman at the time, and I asked him why was it resurfaced but not striped. And he said he was going to talk to the city engineer at the time, Mr. Spike Peller. And he talked to Mr. Peller, and apparently Mr. Peller talked to Mayor Muir. And 2 days later, a company, it was called Air Marking Incorporated out of Rochester, Indiana. 2 days later, they came here with their machine and they striped it. I actually later learned from a gentleman who's a retired local 150 operating engineer that the road paving and the road striping are two separate contracts. And he gave an analogy of when you deal with the tree service. And when you have a tree they'll cut down the tree, they'll remove the tree, they'll haul off all the brush. But when it comes to the stump removal, you either have to contract with the tree service extra or contract with somebody else, or you have to remove the stump yourself. And that's similar to the road paving and the road striping. I'd like to further add that 1 block north of my residence at Warren Street and Ohio Street is where the school bus picks up the Michigan City area elementary, middle school, and high school students to and from school. 1302 at the opposite end of my block at 1302 Ohio Street is the location where Miss Kiki Davis and her mother, Miss Bev Davis, they own and operate the Hearts and Hands Child Care Service. Michigan City Fire Station is located 3 blocks north of my residence at 11th and Ohio Street. It's on the former Garfield Elementary School property. Ohio Street is a LaPorte County Emergency Medical Service ambulance route for the new Franciscan Health Michigan City Hospital. Me and Mayor Perry had to talk about this. About the Gardner Group study in 1966 projected that Ohio Street was supposed to be a dual lane road, which never happened. When I also had some, there's been a lot of tragedy on that block. In 2004, there was a very, very, I'm sure a lot of recall this, a very bad crime scene. It involved a stabbing, a school bus stop shooting. There was then there was a police officer got shot, and there was the man committed suicide, set the house on fire and committed suicide. The 4 officers, they went on the guy because it happened at the time that the students were waiting to catch the school bus. And Sergeant Zumak, he's got a dimple right here in his cheek where he got shot. He still has his slug lodge in his spinal cord. I'm sure if you talk to Councilman Gene Simmons about that, he recalls that because he was a police chief at the time and he had to investigate all that. But I'd just like to have the road restriped like it was in 2015. Thank you.
Okay. Brad, did you want to address this at all?
Yes, I can solicit quotes to have the work done. I believe the city does some of their own striping as well, but
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Sean Smith, Michigan City Street Director. The city does small scale striping. We're talking like a block or 2 at a time. Ohio Street, I believe, is 6 lane miles on one way. So that's a total of 12 miles. Company contractors like Airmark, they use different type of long lasting paint. It's basically thermoplastic acrylic paint. City uses water-based latex, which is only temporary, lasts maybe 1 to 2 years.
Thank you.
But I do agree with Mr. Kolakovich that Ohio Street actually, we should stripe it all the way to 20. I think 11th Street down to 20.
Thank you very much.
But that will require estimates.
Thank you.
So forth.
Okay. Any additional comment from the public? Board, do you have any comments?
Well, I'd wait for
You can come up.
for Mr. Minnick to, were you gonna provide another comment?
if
I'm next, Mr. Don Pribulinski. I'm next before you.
I'll wait till all the comments are done, then fine.
We're in public comments, right?
Yep.
I know I'm late and I had another meeting, but I just wanted to add, and Councilman Bryant Dabney informed me too, but I did have a few comments about HDD, but I know there's going to be a workshop. So if you could just please include me on that. I just want to make sure that it moves back into engineering of some sort. It goes to some engineering, whether it's sanitary district or engineering firm that we've selected. But I know, just as a former employee of NIPSCO and working with horizontal drilling and some of those things, that it really should be in the hands of an engineer and not the clerk's office. So thank you, and just include me in that workshop whenever you have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I certainly will when I call that workshop.
Please.
Morning, Board. Councilman Don Przywolinski, 215 Gardena Street. In a reference to what Mr. Klavik saying, besides Ohio Street, which I totally agree needs to be restriped. The other major thoroughfares in Michigan City are in dire need of restriping. So if we're gonna look at Ohio Street, I think we need to go out and get a package bid. Franklin Street needs to be restriped. I believe Michigan Boulevard needs to be restriped. All these major thoroughfares need to be restriped. We just can't pick out one. We should look at them all and get it all done and be done with it. If we're talking about traffic safety, we got to look at traffic safety throughout the whole community, not just on Ohio Street. But I agree that needs to be done. And I'm glad that Mr. Klavick is still here this morning sitting with us. He was looking at that video and seeing what happened there. And that's Tommy riding on the riding lawnmower. I mean, that could have been very, very bad, but glad you're here, Tommy. All right. But anyway, I'm suggesting we go out and do a major inventory of the streets, and the major thoroughfares need to be restriped. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion on Mr. Kalavik's petition?
I'll make a motion, we restripe. But I would like to ask for a Michigan City Police Department study of that area, because I'm not sure that restriping is just restriping is enough to prevent an accident. We may need some traffic control in that area. So I asked MCPD do a traffic study there.
And Brad, you have some comment?
Yeah, please.
Just a suggestion about packaging the work. As Tommy alluded to, there's different ways to do it, but my suggestion would be to, when the inventory is complete, couple it with the community crossings. Whether it's funded with community crossings or not, that'd be a question for John Doyle, because he's researching that package and that grant. But that would be the time to do it when there's other paving that's going on, because there's striping to be done with that paving as well. So that would be a good opportunity that you would have some value there with the other work in that contract.
Absolutely. Last thing we're gonna do is restripe it. A month later, blacktop over the restriped area.
Absolutely.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Please.
At this point, with new discussion, are we wise to approve a restriping of just one street at this point, or turn it over to city department and engineering for a carte blanche, just as Councilman Prespolinski noted, there are many other streets that need it. We all know piecemealing something is far more expensive than getting it all done when it needs to be.
Excellent point, Mr. Vincent. I will withdraw my motion.
What do you want to do with this petition? You want to table it?
Let's table it for one meeting, and hopefully in that 2-week period, we can get the result of a MCPD traffic study.
And an inventory of other streets
And an
needed,
inventory of
paving
other streets.
projects.
Yes.
Okay, and are you
Second.
going to also include in your motion that you're going to refer this to Mr. Bowen?
That, I will make that motion, but that's contingent upon the council approving his contract tomorrow night. Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Carried.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is a payroll docket for August 1st, 2022. City payroll, $212,844.87. And August 12th, 2022, city payroll of, did I say city payroll or city pension? That should have been the first one. There's a city pension. They're together. We got a second part of the one. It's together. Right. City pension was $212,844.87. And August 12th, 2022, city payroll is $682,173.16. The next is the claims docket for August 15, 2022. Municipal claims of $957,788.93. CDBG, that's Community Development Block Grant of $60,915.53. Health and Life Insurance Fund, $261,988.85. Workers' Comp Trust of $23,321.72 for a total on the claims docket of $1,303,015.03. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the October 1st city pension docket, August 1st city pension docket, August 12th city payroll docket, and the August 15th claims docket for the amount stated.
I'll second.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item is the unfinished business pending items list. Councilman Don Prespolinski had addressed the Westcott Park planters, grass and lights issue. That being that there were unseemly heights of grass, lights that were out, planters that were completely filled with weeds. We had put this on the agenda for status for today. What is the status? Has anything been done about that?
Good morning, Sean Smith, Street Director, of City of Mission City. The Park Department actually completed work on that project last week.
It has been completed, do you know, Sean?
Yes, it has.
Okay, thank you. Just 1 second. Amber, are you still researching whether or not this is part of the park system?
I'm waiting for people to respond to me.
All right, we're trying to figure that out. Go ahead.
Because like I said, there's an ordinance that says that.
If you were asking about the status of it, and I had talked to Park Superintendent Ed Shin, okay, the next morning after the council meeting, that it was discussed at the last council meeting, he had sent me a phone message saying that all hands were on deck, ASAP. They had, I don't know if they had the whole park department down there, but there are, I guess, a lot of people down there working and cleaning it up. They did a very nice job. I did talk to Ed afterwards, and in my estimation, there's more work to be done with the lighting. They're aware that the 2 lights that light up Westcott Park do not work. They don't know exactly why, and they're thinking that they're going to have to, and I don't know if the mayor is aware of this or what, but I know he made me aware of it, that they're going to have to call in a outside contractor to get these lights fixed, because they don't know what the electrical system is all about in Westcott Park. And they don't know if during the sidewalk replacement, during the Singing Sands Trail work was being done there, that if wires were cut, and they just don't know what the problem is there. Now, along with those lights, I also drove through the park during the week, during the nighttime, to see what the lights looked like. And there are 8 other, I'm going to call them street lights, that are located on the sidewalks themselves that are out. And there's also 4 other, I don't know, 4 foot high lights that light up a seating area. Those need to be repaired also. So there's more work to be done there, but I do want to thank the park department for their initial cleanup down there. And I asked Mr. Shin, as far as in the future, what the plans are to maintain the beauty of the park. And he said that he doesn't have enough workers to take care of the work, and that possibly it'll have to be contracted out, which is a discussion for another day. Okay, so anyway, that's where we stand, and that's coming from Mr. Shin on the work that was done there.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
again, I want to thank the park department for going down there and taking care of that.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay, the next item is, yeah. Why don't you?
Make a motion, we remove from pending item list.
Support.
Call for the vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Madam Chair, if I may, I'd like to make a comment in response to Councilman Preselinski's. I was not aware that the reason that the lights don't work is unknown. We'll bring in Marcus Electric, who's our standby contractor, and get those looked at. But the one issue that came up when it was mentioned that the planters were not maintained and needed to be de-weeded, we need to be careful about that, because talking to the park department, their recollection is that when those planters were built and populated, there was they were populated for the beautification of the park with milkweed, which is supposed to draw monarch butterflies. And so if we just get in there and rip everything out as planters, we've defeated something. We do have to be a little bit careful when we get in there, research the records of what was actually installed in Charlie Westcott Park, so we don't undo something that shouldn't be. But I'm chasing that right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is Councilman Don Prespolinski addressed a house that was located at 300 Fairfield Avenue that is being vandalized. My understanding is that Amber, if you want to address this, but wasn't there a citation?
And no, planning has issued orders under the Unsafe Building Act. This body serves as an appellate body. So at this point, I would be asking this board to remove it from the pending list. And if a hearing is necessary, then this board will objectively hear the hearing.
So there's been an order.
There's been an order to repair issued by the planning department.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay, then do I have a motion to remove?
Make a motion, we remove from the pending item list.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. The next item on the agenda is Councilman Don Prespolinski to address his concern regarding the purple lights on Franklin and Cleveland Avenue. Amber, I believe that you've been involved in this.
I have, and on the pending list, it says I've reached out to NIPSCO with no response. That's not accurate. At the last meeting, I said I reached out to various departments, whether or not contracts existed, and I had yet to hear from those departments. Since the last meeting, I have heard and worked with the various departments. We've tried to research, are there any contracts? There's nothing that we could find. We even spent time whether or not it was part of the ESG program that was from the council to see if that was part of this. I don't believe it was. So I think at this point in time, there needs to possibly be something coming out of the mayor's office to NIPSCO or my office, it doesn't matter. But I believe that's the next step. I can't locate any contracts.
We're talking about the purple streetlights? Okay. I will issue a letter to NIPSCO within the next 48 hours demanding that this issue be attended to.
And I can assist in drafting that. But I think that's what needs to happen next, and there needs to be formal communication from the city to NIPSCO.
All right, well then we'll leave this on the pending items list. Next item on the agenda is Davis Bush 2409 Ohio Street was requesting a stop sign at Ohio and Indiana Avenue to help slow down traffic for safety purposes. At our last meeting, Captain Lineski had said that he pulled the accident reports for the past 5 years, and he had made certain recommendations such as a lighted school zone sign, painted crosswalk, a 15-mile-an-hour sign, et cetera. What is the status on this?
Yeah, Sergeant Porker, Michigan City Police. Again, speaking with Captain Lineski, the crosswalks at the intersection have been repainted. The street department is waiting on utility locates for the 15-mile-per-hour school zone. speed limit signs. And I believe Mr. Minnick will present cost estimates, the flashing pedestrian crossing signs.
Thank you.
Morning again. So I talked to Captain Lineski about this last week, and the estimates for the ped crossing signals, similar to the ones you'll see on US 12 near Westgate, at the Singing Sands Path crossing on the west end of town, and also at LaPorte County line. Those are $6,000 units, and you can go with a less costly model in the range of $3,000. So that's generally the range of the lighted signs. Traditional sign without lighting would be substantially less than that, less than $1,000.
Well, board, I think that first of all, we need to leave this on the pending items list. Would you agree? And second of all, I think this is a separate issue regarding the cost of the lighted signs. Did you want me to add that to the pending items list or make a decision?
If that's a recommendation, Mr. Minnick, yes, and I think it should be added,
Then we'll add that to this.
carry it over.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, appreciate that. The last item on the agenda, Brad, is your request on the HGD policy. We may have already covered this in our earlier discussion. Are you satisfied, or are there other things you need to add?
No, we can remove that from the pending items list.
Do I have a motion to remove?
Motion to remove.
Second.
And a call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the public comment section, and I want to clarify what this section is about. Public comment section on this agenda is reserved for matters that do not require board action. So if you're here asking the board to do something, you need to file the proper forms that are available at the clerk's office so that we have a chance, and it's far more efficient for us to have a chance to have this put on our agenda, have the proper people that we need here to discuss these matters, and perhaps even be able to rectify problems at that time, at that meeting. So from this point on, I want everybody to understand that you need to file the proper paperwork and not bring new items that need board action under this public comment. That being said, go ahead and I will accept public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. All comments to be addressed to the board, not to individual members, and all comments must be germane and within the mandate and authority of the board.
Tommy
Tommy, go
Plavik,
ahead.
1316 Ohio Street. Wednesday was the first day of school. I want to talk about Paz Road. The county's portion of Paz Road between Johnson Road and the east entrance to Michigan City High School was completely reconstructed. All new blacktop, all new striping. However, the city's portion between the east entrance all the way to Cleveland Avenue, it's still a mess. It's below the Pazer rating scale. We know we rank the streets on a scale of 1 to 10. The 1s and 2s get paved. It needs done real bad. It's where Michigan City High School is at. We host, other schools for our events almost on a daily basis there. And I think it's kind of embarrassing that they come here and the first impression they give of the city is the condition of our roads. I really want to know if it's possible if we can get federal funding to have that done, because there's now a great big United States Army Reserve Center located there. Okay, it's got to get done. Secondly, I believe Mr. Chalikian, John Chalikian, I believe he retired and he closed his jewelry store. He has a sign advertising his jewelry store. By ordinance, it's prohibited to have any signs advertising a business that is closed. Now, he came many times complaining about putting snow on his property. Well, he's got his sign advertises, but it's kind of old. It's been up there a long time. His sign needs to be taken down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment?
Yeah, Madam President, I duly respect the new rule that you put into place that, you know, if you want to talk under public comment, go ahead and file out the paperwork in the clerk's office for the next meeting. Okay. I didn't know about that, so if it's permissible for me to follow through with what I have to say, I greatly appreciate it.
I will let you do it this time, but from this point forward.
Yes, no, I appreciate that because I didn't know that.
As long as you're here and you didn't hear this before.
Okay, thank you. What I have to talk about, because we already talked about Westcott Park, NIPSCO lights, is 211 Case Street, 211 Case Street. And that's a property that I don't know, I can't remember if I talked about it at the last meeting or not. But the street department, number one, the house is in deplorable condition. The house has been in deplorable condition for at least, I'm going to say 5 years. And it kind of falls into the same realm of what we were talking about. I think it's 322 Fairfield Ave. Not so much people breaking in and out of the house doing that, but just the condition of the house. The individual that owns that house lives in either Valparaiso or Chesterton. They haven't done a bit of work to it. The garage attached to that piece of property is in deplorable condition. The street department was there 2 weeks ago and spent 2.5 days cleaning that property up, over $3,500 in man hours. And according to Mr. Smith, that's going to be billed back to the property owner. So what I'm asking the board, and I know that there is representatives here from the inspection department and the planning department that have jurisdiction over this matter, that we need to get this person to give them a 30-day repair order or a 30-day tear down order, one or the other, but something needs to be done to get this piece of property cleaned up, fixed up for the neighborhood. We remember 2 months ago, there was a group of folks here from the East Side Improvement Group, Eastport Improvement Group. One of them was Mr. Page Harris. Mr. Page Harris lives directly across from this home. And he came out of his house the day that the street department was there, thanked us for doing that. And I also talked to Mr. Harris prior to the street department coming over there and doing that work, and told him that we would get something done with this house. Something needs to be done. You know, whether people say they don't have the money to repair it or they don't have this, well, you own the piece of property. You find the means to take care of the piece of property, or we tear it down and bill them for that. And I know we don't want to tear down houses all over the city. I understand that. But something needs to be done. You just can't keep kicking the can down the road, per se, and let pieces of property like this exist. I know if I lived across the street from that piece of property, or any one of the board members up there lived across the street from that piece of property, they certainly wouldn't want to get up every morning and look at it and go, oh, I wish the city would do something about it. The city needs to do something about it. That's why individuals pay taxes, for us to represent them, to get the job done and to get these kind of situations corrected. So if there's anything that the board can do, I greatly appreciate it. Anything the planning department can do, or the inspection department, I'm sure they'll do whatever they can within the legal bounds of the law, that we get this taken care of and get this piece of property cleaned up. And again, it's 211 Case Street. So when you leave the meeting, take a ride by it and see exactly what these people have to deal with every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, and we always appreciate the information you bring before us.
Good morning, Christine Vandervoort, City Inspection Department. 211 Case, we spoke to Miss Benefield, that's the owner of the property. We sent her a 30-day notice of repair. 2 weeks later, she came into our office, stated that she had a meeting with somebody last week to possibly sell the property off, because she obviously does not have the funds or means to take care of the property. 2 weeks ago as well, I had spoke to her on the phone. I had her board up the rest of the building as far as the garage. Well, it's sealed and no access to get in there. The only windows that are not boarded up are the front porch windows. I'm trying to give her some time to come up with funds to get those boarded up. So we're waiting for the 30-day order to lapse as far as time, unless she sells it beforehand. And I think there was 322 Fairfield. Sent the 30-day order repair out as well. I contacted the property management because the house originally was under a land contract with the original owner with a young gentleman. He backed out of the deal. It's now back with a management company out of Maryville. I gave him the 30-day notice, a copy of that, as well as the legal owners of the property. So I'm waiting for action to take place with that as well. And then if I don't get any responses, we'll go to our next action, course of action, and we'll discuss it with the city attorney at that time.
Thank you. Amber, you think we should table this and until we sort out whether or not we're going to have the orders?
You know, like I said, you just have to be careful with this, because if planning has issued an order to repair, once again, you become the appellate body. So you got to be careful with it, because you don't want to have an appearance of impropriety and that you're not being objective. So that's why I keep saying, remove it from there. And then if it is germane, then you bring it back at the right time.
Thank you. That's what we'll do then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is the board comments. Are there any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
I think I've worn everyone down. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all.